Hey there guys, this is Caitlin here and welcome back to Card Game Tuesday, the day of the week where we enjoy all things card game related, and we are hopping back in with some new deck profiles for you guys. Now this is going to be, the way that this is going to work is, previously I did put up a video saying that I was interested in doing some collaborations and whatnot with people, and one of the ideas was the deck profile challenge. That's still going ahead, but I decided that I'm going to do it on a separate day from Card Game Tuesday, just so that you can still get like a little dose of like Card Game Tuesday stuff, as well as enjoying the collaborative piece or whatever that I'm doing with some other YouTubers. Quite a few people got in touch with me, whatever, because they quite liked the idea and whatnot, so I was really happy about that. And I believe the first of those, because I'm doing it in different styles and whatnot, depending on what's most suitable or more comfortable with the person that I'm collabing with. So the first one that I think I'll be doing is with another YouTuber called BizzyDad. So I'm going to put a link in his description. I believe he said that I should maybe start off the challenge since I came up with the idea. So I think tomorrow I'll post up basically my prompt or whatever, and my solution, basically my deck profile, and then I'll challenge him to build a deck using the same ruler and whatnot, and then you can follow the description of whatever to like build it. So that'll be tomorrow, because I think I'm going to be doing deck profile challenge videos on Wednesdays, just so that we've got like a little differentiation on there. So you'll get a video, Card Game Tuesday video on a Tuesday, and if there's a video ready, you'll have a deck profile challenge video on a Wednesday. If there's not a video up on the Wednesday of that week, then you can assume that the person who I've challenged has posted it on their channel, so you should also subscribe to them and support them and like help keep this community growing, because you know, Force of Will is a lovely game and we should all like band together to support each other. So for today, we're going to be doing just a kind of like a personal deck profile for it today, and it is of the lovely Lady Lumia. Love this card, actually. I'm so glad yes, Lumia the Fainted Rebirth. It's kind of hard to like actually read cards through my camera lens, because it's like, especially for full arts and stuff, because it's just like I can't actually read the text. But she is an awesome card. I love her artwork. It is totally amazing. So she is our light fire ruler for this set. She has Energize, which is obviously light or fire. Her judgment is 1 light, 1 fire, 1 void, and she has the neat ability where at the end of your turn you remove a card. Well, basically you remove a resonator that is rested from your side of the field, and then it enters again. So basically it triggers its enter abilities if it has any. And then we will flip her over to look at her awesome full artness, which I was so super hyped to pull in my Legacy Lost box opening. I mean, look at that card. Look at that card. It is absolutely gorgeous. And you can actually have a quick little scan here just to make sure I'm going to read it correctly when I'm trying to explain what's happening. So yeah, it's 1000, 1000. It already comes with swiftness, which is pretty awesome. And then what happens is that when it enters, you may remove basically the partner card that goes with it, the Nyarlsthotep, which I think is the Crimson Radiance or something like that. Is it Nyarlsthotep Crimson? Yeah, Crimson Radiance. And if you do, she gains imperishable, and let me just double check quickly. And when she deals damage, when she deals damage, you gain that much life. Yes, when she deals damage, you gain that much life. And instead of the rested resonator, it's just whenever she attacks. Yeah, whenever she attacks, you remove a target resonator from the field and then put it back into the game at the end of the turn. So she is a lovely card. I also really like Nyarlsthotep just in the corner here chilling, just being like, oh, I'm so sneaky. Also the Uber, if you've not seen the artwork or the picture of the Uber for this, it is amazing, because the sword and the flames are the ones that are like shiny, and the rest of it is monochrome. It just looks absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I absolutely love this ruler. The artwork is just amazing. They really pulled out all the stops for her, and I'm so happy. But going into the actual deck list here, starting off, we have got 4 of our lovely little Rukh Eggs. I know this is technically the old style card or whatever, the old artwork. I couldn't actually find any of my reprints of Rukh Egg from, when did these get reprinted? Was it Twilight Wanderer, or was it actually Moonlit Savior? I can't actually remember which set these got reprinted in. I do have like the updated set or whatever in one of my other decks. I think it's in my Sylvia deck actually, but I couldn't find my spare copies of the updated one, so I'm just using these kind of to proxy in the now. I'll probably change them once I find them. I know they're lurking about somewhere because I had like tons of commons of Rukh Egg, but everyone should know what Rukh Egg does by now. It doesn't attack or whatever. Well, it can't attack anyway. You block, you search your deck for a fire resonator and put it into your hand, which is very nice, because we get a little bit searching. It's actually the only 1-drop that we're running, because I don't want to be running too many 1-drops, because I kind of had that problem with other decks that were kind of dual color, where it was like I had too many 1-drops of different colors, and then so like, but out of all the cards that we've got in our stone deck, basically 9 of them pretty much produce fire of some kind, I believe. So we aren't too worried about not being able to produce fire. Next up, we have 3 of these lovely little spirits of light. And as you can see here, I'm going to be using my Quest Clear card I got from the Legacy Lost Quest Clear mission. I like this one. It's a 2-cost light. It's 600, 600. And when it enters your field, you can put a 100, 100 counter on another Resonator that you control. Also J/Resonator, so it counts for Lumia. So basically, if we say if she is one of the ones that are leaving the game and re-entering, she sticks another 100 100 counter or something, which is very nice. I like that a lot, and also very foily stuff. So we're running this at 3. Next up, for another 2-drop, we're running 4 of the Fairy of Recurrence. Another fairy for people who are wanting to add to their fairy decks or whatever, but I like running this one because it's a light and fire one, 400, 400 with flying, and basically when it enters your field, we can search our deck for another Fairy Recurrence and put it into our hand, then we shuffle the deck. So basically, it's similar to the Bird of Paradise, I believe, is the other one from the last set, in that it searches out for more copies of itself to replenish your hand and whatnot. So that is actually very nice. So we're running it at 4. Just for that little upkeep. And then next up we have the Glory. That is the 3 full arts of Nyarlsthotep, the Crimson Radiance. In fact, they're so gorgeous. Just take a moment to appreciate how lovely full arts are in this set. We have finally returned to the glory of proper full arts, and I'm so happy because the textured foils and whatnot were okay last set, but they weren't what we wanted. We wanted these. These are what we wanted. They're so gorgeous. And let me just double check what she does again, because it's kind of hard to read the cards through the camera lens, but she enters with a limit of 1. She has 700, 700 for attack, and she's got 2 different awakenings, which you can both pay for, depending on your situation. So basically, the light one, basically what happens with the light one is that you can, if you pay the light one, when it enters, you remove a Resonator from your opponent's side of the game, side of the field from game, and basically it stays in the removed area until Nyarlsthotep leaves the field, and then it goes back into their field. And then the red one is that you can, if you do that, you can play a 3-cost or less fire or light chant, basically for free, I believe, isn't it? Yeah, without paying its cost. And at the end of the turn, if there are no limit counters on this, it goes back to your hand. So basically, with the red Nyarlsthotep, I believe it's that whenever it attacks or blocks, it will lose a counter. So it's basically red Cthulhu's are when they attack or block, I believe, or is it just when they attack? I'm pretty sure it's just when they attack that they lose it. I need to double check that actually, because obviously limit is a fickle thing, and Nyarlsthotep only has 1 on this one, so we just want to make sure that we know what we're doing with that one. So we're running this one at 3. And next up we have 2 Flame Dragon of Altea. The reason I'm only running 2 is because I don't want to run a whole playset of them and end up having one in my hand but then having a full hand, because this isn't exactly an aggro style deck. Obviously, it's got the fire elements and whatnot, but because there's light, we're not going full aggro with it. We're mainly trying to play off of the effects of our inter effects and whatnot. So I'm only running it 2. That's the reason why. And basically, we're kind of hoping we can cheat this in with Flame King Shout, or we can even cheat it in with something else. So basically, that's why it's there, and also because it flies, and it's the big beefy 12/12. So that's why we're only running 2 of that. Next up, we have Amaterasu, who is the Guide of Light. She is a 3-cost, 2 light and 1 void, an 800, 800, and I've got a full art one of her, which I'm super happy with. She's totally gorgeous. What she does is that whenever this card deals damage, we gain that much life. She also has this neat ability where you can pay 2 light and rest 2 recover Resonators that we control, and you can put this card from our graveyard into our field rested. You can only play this ability only if this card is in your graveyard. And then it has Inheritance as well, which is basically the same as its cost, which is 2 light and 1 void. A target J/Resonator gains 800, 800 until end of turn. I'm only running 2 actually tonight because I only have 2 copies. Sadly, I didn't pull many. Is she an SR? Yeah, she is definitely an SR. So I'm debating with myself whether I'm going to buy another box of Legacy Lost, because there's so many cards I still don't have. You'll see in a minute in a couple of minutes when I go to my Magic Stone deck, I don't actually have all the copies I need of Lumia's stone, so I need more copies of that. So I definitely need those. I definitely want to get more full arts and whatnot, and find some other foils and things like that. So I'm only running 2 the now. I feel like 2 is enough. I don't want to go overboard with it or whatever, but I think 2 is enough for Amaterasu. Next up, we are running 3 copies of the Blessed Knight, which was kind of a fun card to play during the pre-release or whatever. It's a 3 cost, 1 light, 1 fire, 1 void, 400, which makes it seem weak for a 3 cost. But it has a really neat ability where when this card is enters our field, we can destroy a target resonator that our opponent, target rest resonator that our opponent controls. So it's kind of funny where, like, say we can try and goad them into blocking, and then once they've blocked whatever, and they're like, oh, my thing survives, we can just like play Blessed Knight, like, no, it's dead. And then it's also good because at the end of the turn, if we remove this from game and put it back in, it triggers again. So basically, if they've blocked with all the resonators, we can kill one by entering, and then when it leaves the field again, wherever, we can kill another one, which is really nice. So we're running it at 3. And next up, we have probably one of my favorite cards that came from the pre-release, actually, because of how technically it's a vanilla, but it's actually like so good. Jeanne d'Arc, the Pious Flame. Like, she is amazing. I also got 1 full art of her, which is totally gorgeous, and I love her. But I need like a playset of full art because she is gorgeous. I totally love her. So basically, she's a 4 cost. She's 2 light and 2 fire for 1,000. She comes with swiftness, precision, and first strike, which basically she is amazing. Like, I can't stress enough how much I love her, even though she's a vanilla. And normally I don't like vanilla things or whatever, like, because basically all she's got is these 3 like keywords or whatever. But I totally adore her. I think she is pretty good. She's like one of those cards where it's just like, okay, she's like only got this. She's got no other gimmicks to her or whatever. She's just a simple 4 cost, 1,000 with good keywords. That's all she needs. She doesn't need any finicky abilities or whatever that could trigger like stealth abilities or trigger chance and whatnot. She's just so good, and I love her, and that's why we're running 4 of her. Might seem a little bit overkill, but I also have another 3 cost actually, which is 2 Athena, mainly just to kind of beef up the resonator count and make sure that we've got enough 3 drops or whatever, because we don't want to be kind of like screwed for not being able to play anything. You've seen Athena before. Basically, she's a 3 cost, 2 fire, 1 void, 700. She comes with swiftness, and whenever damage is dealt to us, we can put a 100 counter on her, and we can pay 1 fire and deal 100 damage to each player. Pretty standard, really. We're only running 2 copies of it. And we're only running 1 copy of this guy, mainly because I don't want to like fill the deck up too much with him, because he, like, what is his name actually? It's the Last People of Gloria. For a 4 cost with only no attack and 1,000 defense, it's not really the best thing. We can kind of hope we can cheat it in with something else that we've got, but it's mainly here for the effect where whenever it enters or leaves our field, so basically when it enters we gain 700 life, and then when it leaves we gain another 700 life. So it's basically a way to cheat us to get more life gain. Isn't that right? When this enters your field or leaves your field for no field, you gain your 4. Yeah, so basically you get 1,400 each time. So basically enters the field, gains 700. It's leaving the field, gaining 700, and then entering again 700. Usually you can even get that much life. It's like pretty insane. So I'm only running 1 copy of it right now. It could be sideboarded out for something else depending on the situation, but basically I'm only running 1 of it. The only other thing I'm running 1 of it right now, because I can only find 1 copy of it. I'm pretty sure I pulled more of it. Looking back in my box opening video, I'm pretty sure I did pull another 1 of it, but right now I can only find 1. It is the it's the Healing Wing Dragon. Healing Wing Dragon, which is a 5 cost for 1 light, 1 fire, 3 void. It's a 12/12. It is flying, so 12 symbols for our other dragon, and obviously when this card enters our field, we gain 1,000 lives. So I'm only running 1 of it right now because it is 5 costs, so it's pretty chunky. And it has 12/12, but the flame dragon of Altea can do the pretty similar things or whatever for less costs. But we're only running 1 of it because I feel like running any more copies of it would be overkill, and we might not be able to even play it. So that's why I'm only running 1. And next up, we're going into our spells. So we're running 4 copies of Crimson Ray, featuring our lovely Quest Queer card that we got. It is obviously a quick cast, and it deals 600 damage to a target player or J/Resonator, and then we gain 600 life. So there's a potential of 4 instances of life gain, 4 instances of dealing 600 for the 2 costs at quick cast speed, which is very nice. And apart from the Quest Queer one, they're all foily, which makes me very happy. And next up, we have 4 copies of Zero's Magic Light. I actually forgot what this was for a minute there. It is a 2 cost because obviously Zero is not our ruler, but it's also got quick cast, and what this one does is it removes a target attacking or blocking resonator from the game. I know some people would say, oh, it's not as good to play without Zero because obviously with Zero it's only a 1 cost, but see, in decks that use light, they don't mind paying the 2 in order to remove something from the game. They honestly don't mind. It's actually like a godsend in some instances. So that's why we're running it at 4. The next one we've got is obviously the hero of our hour, the hero with the power, is the Flame King Shout. We're running it at 3 because I felt like it didn't need 4 in this deck. I don't want to like make the deck too chunky to the point where like we like can't find anything specific that we're looking for. You obviously know what Flame King Shout is. Basically featured in almost every single fire deck I've ever made. It's 2 fire, 1 void, and obviously it deals 400 damage to everything. And then we can drop in a fire resonator that is 3 cost or less and into the field, and it gains swiftness for this turn. This card is a godsend. It's amazing, and I seriously need to get more copies of it. But obviously, since it's from the Seven Kings, it is a pretty hard card to get a hold of now. I mean, I think I do have like more than a playset, but not 2 full playsets. So I definitely need to get more of these because they are so valuable. The last spell that we have is actually not a chant. It's a chant standby, but it's a 3 cost and it's called the Pale Savior. And what this one does is that whenever a J/Resonator our opponent controls dealt damage to me this turn, you can put a light resonator that is 4 cost or less from your hand into the field. So this is the way I was saying how we've got another way to cheat in higher cost things. So basically with this, since a lot of the things are light anyway, we could cheat in Jeanne d'Arc, we could cheat in Athena, we could cheat in Amaterasu, we could, cheat in quite a few things. We could even cheat in Blessed Night if we wanted to, but ideally we want to try and cheat in, like, Athena, not Athena. Yeah, we could cheat in Athena if we want. No, not Athena, because Athena's fire, not light, so we couldn't. But we could cheat in the last people of Gloria, we could cheat in Jeanne d'Arc, cheat in Amaterasu, things like that. Not Athena, because she's not a light one, but you know what I mean. And you're only putting it down for 2, which is nice. Also, these are the sleeves I'm using for this deck. The lovely Force of Will sleeves. And last up, we have basically 1 Regalia, because I feel like I don't want to like stick too much Regalia in every single deck that I run, just for the sake of having it, because, not every deck is a Regalia deck. So I'm only including 1 copy of the Interdimensional Vessel Apollo, just for the fact that we could potentially give Lumia flying if she flips. But that's why I'm only running 1 of it, because while Lumia flipping would be amazing, Black Moonbeam is a severe problem, which I'm actually going to talk about in a little second. But going into our Magic Stone deck, pretty standard stuff, really. We're running 4 copies of Magic Stone of Heat Ray. That's what it's called, right? Yeah. Magic Stone of Heat Ray produces fire or light. Once I get all the copies, I will be running the Awakened Magic Stone in the Earth, which, as you know, if you don't control, if you don't control Lumia, it enters your field rested unless you pay 300 life. Also, whenever you do a Judgment of a Light Ruler, recover this card. So basically, we can recover this Magic Stone if we do flip Lumia. So I only have 2 copies of it right now, which is why these are proxied right now. But hopefully I'll get other copies of it soon. And then lastly, just to fill out the rest of the stone deck, we've got a foil Firestone and a foil Lightstone, just to, so we can fill it out. But as I was saying, in particular, I don't have it on me right now because I didn't actually sleeve it up, but as for a side deck for this, I would suggest, well, for a sideboard anyway, I am also recommending running at least maybe 3 copies of Zero's Familiar, mainly because, as I was talking about, Black Moonbeam, I have particularly found has been a problem at my locals because everyone seems to be building, well, basically the current trend right now is to build Zero with a light green and black for black stealth and green basically for all the horrible counter spells and whatnot. And they've been running Black Moonbeam, which has been pretty much a pain to get around or whatever. So the only really main thing that you can do to get around it, really, because there's not really many answers to Black Moonbeam because obviously it can't be chased. So basically, your only option really is to either have Windsecluded Refuge, which sadly, since we're only doing light red, we're not having. The only other option is if we run Zero's Familiar, because Zero's Familiar gives our J-Ruler barrier, which means it can't be targeted by spells, basically. So for a side deck, I would advise running either 3 or 4 copies of Zero's Familiar, basically depending on how worried you are that your opponent is running Black Moonbeam. I'd say if they're running Dark, there's a pretty strong chance that they're going to be running Black Moonbeam, because obviously with these new J-Rulers, most of their awesome things are happening on their J-Ruler side, so when you flip, you need to keep an eye out whether they have a black mana open, because they could potentially Moonbeam it, and obviously you can't chase it, so there's very little you can do to actually save your J-Ruler. But anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed this deck profile. Let me know in the comments down below how you guys are going to be building Lumia, and look forward to tomorrow where I should be potentially be starting the first deck profile challenge with BizzyDad. Link in the description down below, guys, if you want to check out his channel. He does lots of awesome Force of Will content and whatnot. He does like deck profiles, box openings, and he's going to be doing a new series where he's doing like a 101 for people who want to learn the game. So definitely check out his channel down below, and I will see all you guys later.